Hi, welcome to show 280. We are joined this week by our good friends Leon Ridyard. We've spoken about a lot over the years and his wonderful artwork, so we thought we'd finally get him in and have a chat about it and show some pieces off. So anyway,
and he's brought some records along.
Yes. What you got there, Leon?
What is this? Because I admittedly wouldn't have picked this up because I wouldn't have known that this was on the B-side. But it is
S Express. So this is probably one of the first, probably one of the first records I ever bought back in 1988, and it's on a B-side to Superfly Glide. Superfly Glide is the track that everyone knows, but the B-side is Funky Killer.
It is a funky killer.
It is a funky killer.
And at some point there's sounds kind of like kung fu and kind of fighting noises.
So we was having this discussion earlier. It was very much like Depth Charge, sort of.
Yeah. And I didn't know that this was made roughly the same time as he was making his records, and yet I wouldn't discover him till 10 years later when he released his first album.
Cool. Well, and next up, we delve more into your hip hop past, and we got a bit of gangsta. Moving on. So let's have a listen to this.
Gangsta?
Lovely. This, I heard this on John Peel's radio show one evening.
A bit of a loud bugger, that one. Cool, so John Peel, because he did actually play a fair amount of hip hop. He was feeding it.
Yeah.
That's John Peel book up there for sale.
So I for many years, I didn't have this on vinyl. Picked it up recently. It's just awesome. The lyrics, the drum, it's just like really well put together.
Actually have the drum break right here. Tommy Rose, Greatest Hits. Sweet Pea.
And if you're wondering where right here is, well, we're in the shed shop in South Arrow, just opposite the South Arrow Piccadilly line station.
Indeed.
Packed with records. Leon, packed with records.
Packed with records. How much?
Bargains.
Many more than what I saw when I was last here. Definitely.
Yeah, well, I think you came here on the day it opened, like, but in this place, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was the opening day.
Interesting. It feels like we've done this before. This was like deja vu.
Take two.
Take two.
Yeah, this is a lovely track I picked up at West Norwood Book and Record Bar. Guy Michael behind the counter there, he owns a place, and he's always like saying, "Oh, I think you'd like this." And I just heard it, and I kind of, it's one of those ones that you listen to it and you listen to it. They said it's this band called Blue Cheer, who are an American rock band.
Yeah, hard rock.
And the A-side is completely different. He said, "Listen to this," and I listened to it, and I thought, I'm gonna have it. But I like to buy things that are slightly off the beaten track, quite unusual.
Obviously got their George Harrison, Ravi Shankar thing going on. Yeah, it's nice, very nice. It's called Babaji, Twilight Raga. Phillips, I think it's about 1969 or 1970. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, the bass line's going to come in a second. It's worth waiting for. In the last take, we got that perfect.
It is.
But it wasn't actually taken, so here we go. Come on. Lovely 45. I want to try and get one of these, I think.
It is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, cool. Hey, what we got next?
Next up, it seems like we've got something that Mr. Andy Higgs
Sir Andy
recommended.
Higgs.
Sir Andy Higgs of Peckham. And what we've got is Emanative, and we're going to go with this track, Ominous Shanty, and it is very nice. So let's check this out.
Ooh, listen to this. Come on.
Oh, they're teasing us with the drums.
It's tormenting us.
Anyway, so let's go with Ominous Shanty.
Hello, Mr. Ridyard.
Howdy.
Howdy. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
It's been a long time in the making, this.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming all the way here
No problem.
to the wonderful shed shop.
Yeah.
And Chris is a bit hungover.
I'm a bit hungover, but it's okay. I'll chip in as I need to.
Yeah.
But this is probably the third time you've been in the shop, actually, isn't it? So
Yeah,
we've been buddies for a few years now,
Yeah.
and we did try to do this interview, I think, at the Brick Lane Record Fair last year, but
yeah.
but there were sound issues.
Sound problems,
Yeah.
technicalities. But you're in the shop every day because your stuff's on the wall.
Exactly, because it's that fucking good.
So anyway, obviously we're going to get onto your wonderful art, and what brought you to our attention years ago was your wonderful record art that you did. Well, actually, I think we'd spoken before that, but the record sleeve art and the record label art, wonderful stuff. And I think obviously a lot of our viewers know who you are already, because A, we talk about you, and B, you're actually in contact with them and probably brought a lot of them to our show as well. So, but what got you into music, mate?
Well, it all goes back to when I was little, probably about maybe, I don't know what age I was probably 7 or 6 maybe even younger.
Yeah.
But music was always in our house. My dad used to play a lot of music, either when we were in the house, he used to play the record player quite a lot, or even when we were travelling in the car. He used to have his own, he used to make mixtapes, basically, back in the early days, like back in the 70s.
Right.
Mixtapes.
For family sing-alongs.
Yeah, we used to sing along
Like the
to
Griswolds.
we would think like, keep on running, and 10cc, and some great stuff. And yeah, so my earliest memories are of a lot of the things relating to my dad and his music. He didn't have a big collection, but he had a really eclectic collection of jazz, rock, all kinds of stuff. And he also had an 8-track as well. And I used to love playing, because it's basically a chunky cassette tape that you'd pop into a machine, and you could press track 1 and then press track 2, track 3, track 4. There's one button for all. There wasn't 4 sides on the cassette tape, but you could listen to the 4 different sides, and you could listen to a little snippet, and I'd probably do something my dad hated, try and break things by pressing them too much, because I love the feel of these buttons, which probably developed.
I'm having that problem now with my son.
So yeah, and again we had lots of. I didn't really have access to that record player quite a lot, but I had more access to my own personal tape player. So I had a lot of my own personal tapes. I'd tape off the charts, and I'd listen to John Peel in the evenings quite a lot. And then obviously Top 40 on Sundays was a classic time as well. And then my brother Paul, he also had his own personal record collection as well, and he influenced me massively with loads of different, like, eclectic. So the word eclectic was key in my family, because we weren't into one specific genre or one kind of time-based thing. We did have loads of different stuff, and so therefore, so just lots of stuff to do with music, lots of kind of records, not lots of records, but listen to it all the time basically.
Sure.
And then obviously on TV, theme tunes and adverts. My girlfriend's always gone about the fact that I didn't really do that well in my GCSEs because I was too busy probably learning the advert tunes and stuff like that. Watching, kind of Mission Impossible and really getting into Mission Impossible music and
Our
films.
friend Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
We could, put a word in, about that.
Theme tunes to things like Batman and even Champion the Wonder Horse,
Sure.
Whirlybirds,
Mighty Cannonball,
exactly, and Wacky Racers, and Hong Kong Philly,
wonderful.
all
That.
really, really catchy. And then the next biggest phase was hip hop, and this was around about 86, 87, 88.
Yeah.
I think Derek B's Bad Young Brother was a big influence, because that
Yeah.
was the first tune I learned the lyrics to.
Right.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought, I remember I have distinct memories of being at school and walking up the drive to school singing Bad Young Brother.
Did you long to pull up outside Larry's in your GTI?
My bicycle, my budgie. I had a budgie with my mudguards that rattled.
But he was quite important, actually. I mean, because obviously he was
It's a gateway drug for the UK.
He was a gateway drug for the UK. But he was London born. He was big on the scene, and to actually have like a London born, rapper.
And my brother had the album as well, The Bullet from the Gun.
It was a good album.
It's some good tracks.
Yeah.
But then obviously Rakim came out with Follow Lead, and that was like, wow, I was blown away. It's one of those classic ones that went through you, kind of like give you goosebumps.
Yeah.
But then, having thought that as well, I wasn't solely into hip hop. I loved a bit of the house music was kind of like big coming out, all the kind of 10 City and Voodoo Ray.
Yeah.
And Stack of Humanoid.
Humanoid, yeah.
Having Def 2 was the thing on radio BBC 2 where they had Def 2 and the soundtrack.
It was
Def 2
the thing to it. That's right.
And they actually said we've had a lot of people asking us what it is, and they actually played it, and they've showed the video, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking excellent.
that bit, wow, it's not quite as cheesy as that, but
No, it's yes.
yeah.
But that's at the time. I think obviously you did have hip hop, you did have house, you did have all of these things.
Yeah.
That were coming out exactly at the same time.
Yeah, and me and my friends, there was a bit of competition. There was a guy called Rob that used to walk around, he was in a year below me, he used to walk around with headphones, and he'd have Voodoo Ray on and all that house and techno stuff, because he had contacts in Sheffield that could help him with the music and stuff, and this in turn led me to...
He sounds so cool.
He does sound cool.
Can we get him?
Wonder what Rob's doing now.
Yeah, he's not in the shed shell.
No.
Yeah. So it's not Rob Life, is it?
No.
No, it probably wasn't. But anyway, I ended up going to Sheffield and going through all the record shops and kind of being disappointed with our price and HMV with the classic
As you would be.
top 40 kind of stuff, thinking, yeah, it's okay, but I want something different. So I kind of went round. There was a lot of second-hand shops. There wasn't charity shops at that point. There was more second-hand record shops. And then I discovered Fawn. Now Fawn was a tiny shop, probably the same size as this shop actually. And Fawn was tucked away. It was on the high street, just on the outskirts of Sheffield, and it had loads of hip hop. And I was like kind of getting into the hip hop, and I had lots of records that I just hadn't a clue what they were. At the same time, there was lots of house and techno records, and people were coming in, and you get the classic people who are kind of around the stereo area, kind of like hiding. You know, you can't see what this is. You're not allowed. It's like, this is brilliant. What is it? I'm not telling you, kind of thing. It's like a bit disappointing, but.
Chris does that sometimes.
I do that, yeah.
But I'd hear something on John Peel and go in that shop next day and ask, and sometimes they wouldn't have it even. Like John Peel was like way beyond what they were doing. So
Sure.
But yeah, I kind of obviously Fawn years later developed into Warp Records. I think
That's right. Yeah.
people that kind of frequented Fawn decided to move on and make a bigger shop and start their own record label. That kind of thing. Although actually I have a Fawn record as well. The Funky Worm.
Oh right,
The
because
Spell. Not there was like Hustle to the Music was the first one.
yeah,
The
because
second one was
also
Spell.
DJ Mink, Hey Hey Can You Relate was originally released on Fon. I got the Fon
That's
issue
fantastic.
before it was released on Warp. Killer. So obviously you were massively, as most people were, because this was before CDs and stuff, really.
Yeah.
It was massively into records.
Yeah.
But obviously where this crosses over into your art, so at the same time were you massively into art as well?
Yeah, it was funny because I did loads of drawing, and I draw lots and lots and lots, but I think my oldest brother, was doing his A-levels, and he was drawing specific things, and he kept talking to me saying, you should be looking at this, you're looking at this, and I never really understood what he was talking about. And I guess I didn't connect music and art. I really didn't see that connection for many years, and I'd do anything and everything, and my drawings were completely eclectic. First thing I'll be drawing the scene of my bedroom window, outside my bedroom window for 1 minute, and then Danger Mouse the next, and then Daleks the next, and I even traced things off the TV screen as well. I'd pause it on my VHS video, like
That sounds quite cool.
Right.
tracing the TV screen. And at the same time, I'd be taping things off the TV as well. Like I'd get my old chunky tape recorder and stick it next to the TV, and I'd have really sore arms afterwards because I'd be holding it the entire episode of the Waltons just for one sample or something. I don't know.
From the
Well,
Waltons.
Anything at all. Like, Open University, I'd listen to anything at all because it was all sound.
I remember doing
spoken
it.
word music, you name it. I loved having it on tape and think, oh, this is really interesting. And then every now and again, Mum would say, it's time for tea, and it'd be on tape, and I go, yeah, brilliant. Got my mum on tape saying it's time for tea, and as well, trip hop was quite a new thing as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of had hopes that I would one day make my own trip hop record.
Right.
Like mix some of the beats that I was listening to on my records and use samples and stuff. I never got there, but.
So quite abstract style of sort of like music that you were sort of like thinking about doing. Was that the same as your art that you were sort of coming out as well? Was that fairly?
Not really. No, my art start was really straightforward. It was really kind of like I say, landscapes, I guess, and pictures, copying pictures mostly. And even at university, it was kind of I got into printmaking, and although actually the first thing I did print-wise was actually I made a secret code language using the symbols off a tape player. So
Right.
the symbol for fast forward and play and pause and record that you'd use again and again because I love tapes. I'd make it into a kind of code and repeat it again, and it ended up looking like hieroglyphics.
Right.
So I made the printout of it, which I still have, and I should have bought today really. But and I drew little cassettes and put it in between the symbols, and that was the first thing I did that actually linked with my passion for music.
Right.
But it didn't go any further than that.
Okay.
I kind of had plans, but it just didn't come into anything.
Sure.
I was going to make a new word called fruition or fruilate. But,
Well, me and Ben will use it.
Yeah, we'll use it. Plus, just have a love notes.
Yeah.
Also, I was doing a lot of landscape work, so I was doing trees.
Here we go.
This is
This is the
amazing.
kind of thing I was doing when I first.
Look at that.
So this is kind of landscape painting I was doing. It's acrylic based. I'd take a photograph and then work back in at home, paint the photograph, not exactly copy, but
Sure.
make my own version of it. And I was making lots of these and making small ones, fairly big ones sometimes, but mostly roughly the same size as this.
Mm.
And I didn't really know where it was going. I enjoyed it, and I thought this is great. I really love trees. I love being in the open air because I'm originally from just outside Sheffield, and there's lots of the Peak District basically. So
Sure.
there's lots of things like this around, and I really love being in it. But I was stuck as to how to develop it. I
Right.
really enjoyed painting pictures, but I thought I need something more. So one day I decided to paint this.
Okay.
So this is it's kind of a sketch. It's not real. Anyway, it's a kind of a bit ripped and a bit tatty, but it was just an idea. And I thought, right, I'm going to buy. I thought to myself, I'm not going to go down the route of painting music. I'm not going to do a Kandinsky where you paint lines and shapes and colours to represent things you can't see. It's intangible. Or other things like Mondrian, who does kind of that kind of jazzy kind of stuff with squares. I thought, no, I'm going to paint the actual thing you listen to, which is the vinyl. So I thought, no, I'm going to paint, and you choose a random one, which happened to be the Crusaders' Free as the Wind. And I thought, I love this kind of the label with the rainbow effect. And at the time, I wasn't doing any kind of special effects to make it look realistic. The sleeve was roughly the same colour. And that, again, this is like a one-off thing. And I thought, it's good. Not sure how to develop this. I don't want to just paint loads of vinyl. There was other people I saw on the internet that were doing similar things. I thought, no, I need to do something slightly different. So I did do a few other pictures like that. So I started working into them. Again, this is paint, and I started to make them a bit more realistic with the reflections. And this is purely with a brush as well. I actually drew round the record, so this is the exact same size as the record. And this was based on a Stanley Clarke album I had. And I love the inner labels as well. And I thought, now that's another route I could go down, possibly doing a series of them based on labels.
Yeah, see, I like the fact that you do the label just as the colours and take all the print out.
Not the details.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it could be any Atlantic record.
Yeah. But the thing is, I spoke to my brother, because my brother's also an artist, and he said to me, the thing about records is the identity, about people love the writing as well. They want
They do,
specific records.
but if you like that, that's where you've got it on the record. That, I think, stands out because of that.
That could be anybody that's on Atlantic.
Yeah.
That could be Led Zeppelin, it could be Stanley Clarke, it could be...
That's the aspect I like about it.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a mystery. We know there's a lot of artists that are on that label, but...
And I like the fact that it's recognisable just because of the bare minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that becomes the identity.
Whoa. So
This
is
is turning into an art show.
Isn't it? I think so.
Highbrow.
So we can find, we need to find the music to the gallery in Take Heart.
Oh, I've used that before.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It's hard to get hold of that track.
I've got it on my phone. Left Bank 2.
What, the vinyl or just on your phone?
No, on the phone.
Because I looked for it recently, and there's not many around. It's quite pricey as well.
Is it?
Yeah. This was an Ossibasa record.
The dog bone label is it's known as.
I love the colours. It's really kind of like
MCA, isn't it? I think.
No, it's something else. It's not MCA. No, it's I can't remember what it is now. But I liked it because it's unusual. It wasn't like a classic label. It was like slightly unusual label. So, or it might be MCA.
It is MCA.
Yeah, okay, maybe
Because there's another one exactly the same, which is blue and black.
right.
Very similar, but then
Okay.
but it was only around for a little while before it was changed to them.
Because that's the aspect I
Yeah.
researched labels and thought, because there's different aspects like how they change over the years.
Yeah.
From being the ones you recognise to ones that there's a one-off one.
Sure.
It's the same with the Motown labels. There's like kind of certain gold ones that are only around for a certain amount of years
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So, and again, I thought, do I want to go down the route of doing a series of albums that like kind of classic labels? I thought, not sure about that. So, because I thought I like lots of different genres. There's people out there that like different genres. Would I be choosing specific labels? 'Cause
Would you be
it's-
pigeonholing it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then missing the market. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I then, what was my next step? Oh, I did a bit of collage. So I thought, a bit of headphones, because I remember headphones were quite a key thing in the past. Spending so much time with my dad's stereo, listening, like, you know, I had to have the light off quite a lot of time if it was night time, and looking at the amps on the stereo and stuff. But when I had my Walkman, my first Walkman, the classic flimsy headphones with the sponge,
With the
used to
sponge,
break
yeah.
easily, and they used to scratch my ears quite a bit, and I wasn't satisfied that not like the big chunky ones. These ones,
Yeah.
they sat on your ear and you couldn't quite hear them sometimes. But anyway, this is a collage, and just again, this is a bit scruffy, but it's just a sketch of something I might want to have done in paint later on.
Right.
Which you went on to do. You've done. I've seen some of your work
yeah,
with.
which I'll probably
headphones.
show in a second.
Yeah, we've got a few behind it there.
So
Yeah.
before we come on to those ones, and that, I'll disappear for a second off the camera view maybe.
That's all right.
I then did a bit of drawing. Now this was another kind of experiment. This was quite a large drawing. Now this is graphite. This is like pencil lead,
Right.
big chunky lead. You can get quite thin ones, and what I'd do is I'd draw out the lines again and again and again. They took me ages. This is like a couple of days' work, and I'd leave out the middle on purpose. So again, it's not kind of specific record.
Yeah.
It's kind of more to do with recording in itself, because I'm recording something as I'm drawing. I'm recording my actions, and again, like you're recording history on a vinyl, you're recording music or spoken word, and I like that aspect of it. And I've got another one of these that's like frames, that's like quite heavy, done with like no pencil marks around, really beautifully professionally done, and on a nice quality of paper, and that's on my website. And so I did a bit of drawing, and I explored that avenue for a bit, and it's something I always wanted to return to as well. I did another piece which was like lots of records, so basically like this, but huge, a really long one, lots of pencil lines again and again.
Yeah.
And someone in California saw it online and went, I want that. So they said, how can you ship it across? I said, yeah. So that drawing's actually in California now. So I went, yeah, brilliant, I've sold a piece of work. I thought to myself, well, why don't I work on wood? So you just get some cheap MDF, paint it white, and then paint on it, see what happens. And lo and behold, it was brilliant. I was really comfortable with it. No ripping of paper. I could tape it and take it off without worrying about doing, harming the painting. And it freed up and gave my ideas even more freedom. And I started to do kind of Banksy-esque kind of things, but a bit more complex. So therefore, So the next step was actually these kind of experiments. So I was looking at radio receivers.
Yeah.
Right.
And kind of using spray as tape.
Yeah.
And this also was on, another one on. I kind of chop and change from paper to
Yeah.
board,
Sure.
just to kind of constantly kind of test things out first before actually making them look dapper. And I was really happy with that.
I love that one. I love the fact that you've just sprayed the red bit to give it that, and it really does work, especially if you're looking at it as I can see through the camera here.
Yeah, when you've got distance.
When you've
from
got distance, it gives the desired effect. But up close,
yeah,
it's killer.
Yeah,
Really, really good.
Cheers. Again, I moved into spray. So another thing is moving on to wood and spray paints. I'm moving away from brushes for a bit, and getting things with paint I can't get with brushes, like the colour blending and that kind of thing was really easy to kind of develop.
I mean, did you have a background in graffiti or anything like that?
Not at all.
No,
I had an
okay.
interest, obviously, when I was at school. Had a lot of friends that were tagging, or had friends that were graffiti artists that would. When we were going to school disco, when we were in the disco, they'd go outside down to the local railway bridge and do a bit of illegal spraying and come back from it and then disco away. And I wanted to go with them, but I couldn't because I didn't really, they didn't want me to come because I wasn't part of their crew.
Sure.
But I'd see them swapping their pictures around, and I go, "Oh, that's lovely and stuff," and this is what we're going to do on the wall and stuff. So that was great. But I did a few tags, and I always got scared about getting caught by the police, because security cameras were a big thing, like a brand new thing when I was growing up. At the end of school, when I was just about to leave school, our little town, just outside Sheffield, a few security cameras were popping up here and there, and it's kind of like you were more aware of being watched, therefore it was more risky of getting caught. Plus, we didn't have the accessibility of getting spray cans. Like, obviously, you go to places for car spray, back in the day, I guess, but you wouldn't have places like Chrome and Black that you do now, or even art shops that sell spray cans now.
Yeah, you can get Montana in any most art shops.
Yeah. I had access to my dad's shed, and he probably just had a one black spray.
Dupli colour or something like that.
So yeah, I mean, spray paint was definitely something that really made things jump forward as well.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to those.
Yeah.
I guess. So the next idea, they work as a pair, by the way.
So shall I hand you that one?
So I started to think about, number one, what kind of things I could do with spray. Number two, what images I'd do. And again, it would relate back to, rather than music itself, the physical side of things, that what you use to listen to music with. So either the headphones that I used to use when I was little. These are actually, I think, my brother Paul's.
Sorry. Oh. Right. Go on, mate. Yeah.
Edit that.
No, it's right. Yeah, go on.
I think they were Paul's or my dad's. I think they might be my dad's.
Yeah.
Big, chunky, heavy headphones that were great to wear, and sat next to the radio for many. Well, not radio, but sometimes they look as radio.
Yeah.
And cut the world out and just go into a different place with these fantastic headphones. And I found an image of them online, and that was another thing as well that kind of I found really frustrating at first, was the fact that I was using a lot of images off the internet that weren't mine.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to art college and university, they say to you, you need to, the best thing to do is to use your own photographs, and it is true, because you see more, your own image, and the angle you want that, etc., the detail you want.
Yeah.
So you decide what pictures you want to use, what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
And you can't get that off the internet. I was looking at a lot of record needles and amp meters, and radio receiver dials and all that kind of thing, and they're not your pictures. So I emailed a few shops in town saying, please, could I come into your shop and take pictures of close-up of the dials and the buttons. They never got back to me.
Really? Oh, that's surprising.
I would even say, I know it's a bit cheeky, but I could do a painting for your shop, or you could commission me to do something for your shop, etc. So I kind of suggested that angle, but nothing. So I didn't want to just go in the shop and sneakily take pictures. I thought, but luckily, actually, recently I found a shop in Long Ditton, a guy who transfers VHS videotape to digital, and also any other format, like, for example, old 8-track, not 8-track, but the reel tapes. And he's got loads of really old, beautiful machinery. And I said to him, do you mind me coming in and taking photographs of my artwork? And that's fine. And he's got some amazing equipment that he's not selling. It's just for show, basically. And he's probably collected over the years, and it's really amazing. So these two pieces, they go together. Yeah. One's called Hot Phones. Yeah. And the other one's called Moon Phones. Yeah. And
Because these pieces were at Brick Lane last year, I remember them.
Yeah, they go together as a pair.
Yeah.
And I think that Moon and Sun are together when they're the same size as the record, possibly.
No.
I think I hated maths at school, but I really like measuring out the specific size of each board so they're all the same format. So a lot of the pictures you see online of my work, they're of one format. So there's either long ones that are say 120 centimeters by 40, and then these ones are possibly 60 by 40 or something, so half the size. And then you get even longer ones, or even so. I like to kind of keep them uniform and the same as images, the size images. I try and keep as kind of a similar format.
Yeah.
Which may stem from record collecting, really kind of specific things I looked for when I started to really go in depth about specific records and second pressings and all that kind of thing. So I got this guy from Korea who bought one of my records. One of my large needle drawing.
Amazing, the large needle drawings.
Yeah,
amazing.
He thought it was amazing, and he said he couldn't speak much English, but he said it. Wow.
He could say amazing.
I asked him what the vinyl thing, if people collect vinyl in North Korea, he said it's quite large.
In North Korea?
Yeah. Well,
South Korea?
I didn't say, he wasn't specific.
I would have thought so.
I'm going to guess.
So, yeah. So, and then a Polish guy bought my taped, reel-to-reel tape painting as well.
Excellent.
Loved that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other people bought my paintings, but on a whole, I've still got quite a lot of paintings in storage. I'm kind of saving them up to go to a gallery with.
Yes.
Because over the years, I've been kind of getting to a point when I feel more confident, number one, talking about my artwork, and number two, knowing that I've got good quality products to sell.
Yeah.
Because people want to buy something that's going to last quite a long time. They want to know it's by you. They want to know what it's about, etc. And yeah, so it's got to a point in my art career where possibly within the next year I'm gonna start approaching galleries with my work.
Yeah. But at the moment people can see your work online and they can buy your work online, can't they? Yeah. And they can also buy some prints here.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And some posters.
Yes, we get there. That's what I'm saying. The prints, the posters. Yeah.
So.
Do you want to because this reel-to-reel piece, this is amazing.
Yeah, so this is a poster based on my painting that I did, and it's a picture of it. Again, it wasn't my own photograph, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
but it's a
amazing
painting of a 1960s reel-to-reel tape recorder, the kind of one that Bing Crosby would have used.
Yeah, there you go.
Because what I was researching, whenever I get a photograph or do a painting of something, I like to research it and find out loads about it, so I can, rather than just the physical, like the visual side of things.
Yeah.
I like to know about, why has he got these big black dials, etc.
Did you say Bing Crosby? Bing Crosby was incredibly important.
Oh yeah.
Incredibly important to sound, because he was the guy. He was one of the guys that was prominent in ensuring that shows on the radio would be edited. So originally, lots of things just go live, and editing and then putting stuff out as a pre-recorded recording, obviously. Bing Crosby was a pioneer of that.
Oh, totally. And
yeah, I was really surprised when I found out all about that.
Yeah, and
efficiency
again,
probably was driven it, but yeah.
We was talking about being live as well. He was convinced that this would sound just as good up through a tape recorder as it would live, and no one would believe him for quite a few years. Yeah. And eventually he said, "I'm going to do it."
It was a chap that bought some. It was a chap that bought some machines back during the war. So the Nazis were putting out recordings of orchestras, and nobody believed that they wouldn't be live. And the people thinking, how they're so perfect every time, but they weren't live.
Yeah.
And it was a chap that bought that back. He went and found the kit after the war, and he bought it back. And Bing Crosby was the guy that gave him the job. No one would work with him. Nice. Yeah. That's for another show, anyway. Back to you.
But anyway, another aspect I loved about this was the fact that it's got bits that aren't painted, bits that should be fully formed, but they're not.
Yeah, I like that about that.
I specifically did because I found out that a lot of these were sold with pits missing. So when people bought them, there were parts missing that should. Not specifically missing from the machine, but there was other machines that the professional used,
Yeah.
that people bought them for their own homes.
Didn't
They were
need those bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were bits that should have been there that were made without. And I thought, oh, that's quite a nice bit to play around with. The fact
Yeah.
that it's not all completely coloured in.
And it emphasises the key parts as well because of that as well.
And it's the coverings missing as well. So this is the insides, the inner workings. And they would all been covered up, so you'd just see the dials, you'd see this and these bits. You wouldn't see all the knobs and the bits of screws and things.
Yeah.
You'd just see the tapes going around.
Yeah.
So that was a lovely aspect of it.
It's a wonderful poster, that.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah. And the other one we got in here?
This one is a blow up of one of my paintings of a record needle.
Look at that.
So this is a Shure record needle.
That's a beauty.
And again, I love this photograph because it's unusual from a lot of things you see. It's underneath. And I thought, oh yeah, it's kind of it's quite a dominant thing. You know, you're looking up at this thing rather than looking down as you normally pick the record needle up from the record player. And you know, I love the shininess of the metal parts. And, in the wires, the beautiful wires on it. And again, this is acrylic paint. This is actually something this is a close-up of the entire painting. So it's actually, there's a part of record player and some wood below this on the actual painting on the website. But I zoomed in on this for the poster because I thought it'd be interesting an aspect to do. Yeah. And when I did it, I thought, oh, that'd be nice as a painting in itself. Yeah. So I guess at some point I've always aimed to do this, to make a massive like a series of paintings of different record needles that are quite large, you know, kind of probably about as tall as that poster behind me, maybe twice as long kind of thing. So, you know, to make something so small that you pick up with your hand and make it bigger, changes the.
Well, it does. It makes it almost like some sort of a dragon's head or something like that. You know what I mean?
I thought of classic like 70s spaceships.
Yeah.
You know, you get a lot of artists that would kind of design futuristic cities and spaceships when I was growing up. Yeah. And my dad had a book on it, and for the moment I can't think of the artist's name. But and architectural kind of makes it more architectural as well. This could be a building, but it's floating. It's a floating building.
So those posters are available.
Yeah, for a
limited amount for £5 each here at the Shed Shop.
They certainly are.
Or on your website.
Indeed, yeah. So there's probably about 10 posters each, possibly.
LeonRidyard.co.uk.
Yep, leonridyard.co.uk.
There you go.
And on that website, there's links to my Facebook page, which has some more artwork and kind of like the process, photographs of me being working progress. Yeah. And I also do commissions as well. Like, for example, this isn't an actual piece, but it's one of the pieces I made in
this
preparation.
Is interesting. Yeah.
I actually do with oil pastels. It isn't quite fixed properly, but it was a sketch towards. There's a band called the Frisbees, and they said to me, "Leon, please, we're going to have we're kind of it's like acoustic kind of folky kind of band, really beautiful music." And they said to me, we've got an idea for an album cover. We want to make it certain colours, and we want to have a figure. It's crouching on the corner. And can you make us an EP, because we're going to release an EP for the first time. So I designed this EP for them, and they had a gig. At the gig, they had the cake had my picture of the album cover on, also
fantastic.
the EP. And also they had my artwork. I had large rough sketches which they taped behind them when they did the gig of the EP release. Yeah. They had the actual CDs and EPs kind of with the cover on. It was fantastic, and I really enjoyed making it for them as well.
I bet.
And I thought, oh, that's my own artwork.
Should have bought the EP.
On the actual vinyl. So it was a really nice experience. Yeah. And they were really happy with the final product. I've done a few other kind of commissions, various other commissions, but they weren't music based. So that was the first one that was connected with music.
Okay, cool.
And I also do workshops with schools as well. I sort of spray workshops.
Cool.
And I provide all masks and aprons and things, which is quite good fun.
Cool.
Creating the next generation of graffiti artists.
Possibly. I do actually have to say in the workshops that kind of the word graffiti has got a kind of negative connotation.
It has, yeah.
And I kind of discuss spray art and graffiti kind of differences and kind of stenciling and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But I don't go into the history of, because I see so many workshops saying we're going to start by talking about the history. Kids get bored of that. They want to get straight into the action. So I just cut that out, and I just have fun, and give them stencils if they want to just spray the stencils. That's fine. And
They'll find the history themselves if they want to.
Yeah.
So I discovered the book and repertoire purely by chance. Walked in, looked at a few records.
Had you heard about it before? Because
not at all. I'd just been teaching that day.
Right.
In the morning, I got off the train outside West Norwood, and literally it's outside the train station. This place, and it's like it used to be a pub, I think.
Sure.
On the corner, and I saw it said Book and Record Bar, and I went, oh, I had a look in the windows, and lots of records. Went, yeah, that's great. So I had in mind, I said, right, at the end of the day, I'm going to come back there and have a little dig. And it was really nice, and I had like so many records. I thought I need to go back home, but there's, I'm going to come back here at some point. Got talking to Michael, who owns the place, and had a nice conversation with him. Asked him if I could show my artwork, which I still haven't done yet.
Right.
He said he was more than happy to show my artwork, and I'm ready to kind of bring them down and stuff. And then I found out, I connected with him on Facebook, and found out there was this night called Stick It On. And it's like basically you bring along a few records, you can play 3 records at a time, and then you chalk your name up on the board and you wait for your next turn if you're staying for longer. And it's just a nice evening of just playing some records that any genre.
And what sort of stuff did you play?
Well, I love my soundtracks.
Right.
I love my TV stuff.
As do we.
I love my hip hop. I love all house, and I've got a lot of 12-inches, and I've got a lot of. I haven't really got that many 45s. I've got a few 45s. That's something I've bought recently, but I never used to buy 45s.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of, I don't know. It just delving into stuff that I haven't played for years, and think, oh, I'd love to play this again. So I take it down there, put it on, and people say, oh, what's this? I found this Hawkwind track. It's called City of Lagoons, I think it's called.
Right.
And it's like Pink Floyd, and you would never guess it's Hawkwind because everyone thinks of Silver Machine or Sonic Attack or anything like that, and I love all that stuff as well. But this track is very laid back and kind of Dark Side of the Moony kind of, and
sure.
It's really kind of cosmic feel to it, and every time I play it, people go, "Oh, what's this?" And you go, "It's Hawkwind." I go, "Nah." So it was one of these tracks. I played it that night, and people were interested, and I played a few other tracks, and I go there. Every time it's on, I go there, and it's a nice little evening. And
cool.
Sometimes it's a really small amount of people, and it's a nice little cozy kind of feel to it. And people come from far and wide to come just play.
Well, Leon, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
No problem.
Thanks for coming in, mate. And once again, leonridyard.co.uk.
Yep.
Yeah, cracking.
If you log onto that website, you'll see all the links for anything else that I've done. So, any commissions I've done, a Facebook page, workshops with children, that kind of thing. So.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, mate.
Let's play some tunes.
Let's play some tunes.
Yeah. Oh, there we are.
There you are, Chris. Yeah. Anyway, what is this again?
This is Louis Bonfa. And I picked this up in Birmingham. No one advised me about it. I think it's one of these. I looked at it and liked the album cover, picked it up and loved it ever since.
And it is awesome. It is awesome. I'm pretty sure we played it many moons ago. Don't know whether it was this song, but it was definitely one from this album. It's a killer album.
Yeah.
I'd say it's best album.
Yeah. The other stuff's a bit kind of a bit slightly cheesy. It's well produced, but it's slightly cheesy.
Well, this is produced by Diodato, this one. Yeah, wicked.
Lovely. Leon, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
no problem,
really appreciate you coming in.
Enjoyed it, mate.
Thanks a lot. Glad we had you on, mate. You're a big part of our show. So,
part of the shop because there's pieces of Leon's stuff all over there.
There is, leonridyard.co.uk. Check out his stuff.
I would buy it because it's going to be worth fucking tons in a few years' time.
Yeah, definitely the case. He's going to be a rich man, and then we're going to be best friends.
Exactly.
And then you can come on my show.
Yeah, that's it. And then if you come into the Shed Shop, you can buy those fantastic posters of his art.
Indeed.
That they're both amazing bits.
Some lovely birthday cards.
Oh yeah, grab one of the birthday cards. We didn't show that off, did we? These are excellent. These are really good. Yeah. Look at these. Or not just birthday. Let's put it back a bit. Not just birthday. It's a special message to you. I might buy one and send it to Chris.
Oh, great, he's so sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. And yeah, I would get that. I'd be really happy if I received that in the post.
Cool.
Yeah, happy man.
I would.
Yeah. So yeah, Shed Shop, South Arrow, just opposite South Arrow Big Blind Station in the indoor market. You can't miss it. Yeah. Cool. And we will catch you next week when we will have a Layla Schiffer interview.
We
It's
hope.
the only way to follow this man up.
Totally, yeah.
Cool. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.